This is the first time I've done this where I just kind of turn on the camera and talk. I didn't even bother making my bed or anything like I usually do. So I planned this video months ago when I first released my video titled I've been angry since March 2020, where I basically just ranted about the things that have been making me angry since March 2020. And then I came up with this video idea to talk about all the things that have been making me angry since I became a K-pop stan, which is in 2016. And I guess I must have just procrastinated for several months until the Jake Park situation happened recently. I think it happened yesterday. I found out about it a few hours ago, and now I'm pissed. So it's the perfect time to talk about this. I'm gonna try not to be angry. Last time it didn't work. I did some screaming. But I'm gonna try to remain calm and not let idiots bother me. I've had a long history with K-pop, mostly K-dramas. I've been watching them for many, many years, but I didn't officially call myself a K-pop stan or whatever until sometime around 2016. Tell me why. Way back then, when I told people that I was a K-pop stan. Now, to give you some frame of reference, at the time K-pop wasn't what it is today. BTS really just... The way BTS blew up is something that I didn't see coming. I don't know if y'all saw it coming. So now BTS has become a household name. People know K-pop. They're aware of it. They're familiar with it. If they don't know specific groups, they at least know BTS. They've seen at least some of their performances. They've heard at least one of their songs. Before that, before BTS blew up, no one knew anything about K-pop except maybe even Gangnam Style, and people didn't even know that was K-pop. So when I became a K-pop stan, and I told people that I listened to K-pop, tell me why they had such a visceral response. You would think that K-pop killed their mom. Tell me why that happened. How can you hate something when you've never given it a shot? Back in high school, I was in Spanish class. We know this. I've already talked about this. Whenever I would be listening to Spanish music or music from any other country, no one would have a problem with it. Well, not any other country, any Western country. No one would have a problem with it. They'd be like, oh my God, I love that song. Despacito. Despacito at the time was everything. But as soon as I told someone I listened to Korean music or Chinese music or any kind of music that is Asian, people had this, why would you listen to a bunch of Chinese, dude? I'm sorry, when was China spelt with a K? You racist freaks. I've come up with 2 reasons why people have such a hatred for K-pop, even though they've never listened to a single Korean song. You're either misogynistic or racist, or I'm thinking both. You hate women and you hate Asian people. Because anything that teenage girls like, people tend to hate. Because for some reason, being feminine is being a serial murderer. I don't even know. It's it doesn't matter how good of an artist you are, how talented you are, how incredible your music is. As soon as teenage girls like you, you're trash in their eyes. Because they're a bunch of little misogynists. And because K-pop is so popular amongst teenage girls, well, that's not technically true, but I guess we'll get to that in a sec. Because it's so popular amongst teenage girls, everyone has to hate on it and dump on it for no reason. Why do y'all hate teenage girls so much? I see how you treat teenage girls on TikTok. I see how you attack them and harass them for simply existing. What have teenage girls done to you? You can't let a young girl thrive without attacking her? You're a grown man. Some of you are grown women. And I feel bad for you. Well, you're a loser. What is it about teenage girls liking anything that makes you hate it? I saw this tweet recently that said, more women should get into politics so that men will start hating it. And then someone replied to that tweet and said, we did, and they called us social justice warriors. You tell us we don't like it because it's actually good. We don't like K-pop because, I don't know, K-pop idols make quality music. It's not because that's because we're just a little bunch of horny little girls and we just like boys because they're a bunch of pretty boys. If that was the case, If we were only into it just because they're a bunch of pretty boys, I wouldn't be listening to their voice or their music. Would I just be listening to their face? Listen, I used to shake in my boots anytime I had to tell someone that, like, yeah, you know, like, I listen to K-pop and, like, I like, you know, BTS and, like, EXO and stuff. I would shake in my boots because I was afraid of the response they would have, because they would always have some racist or misogynistic response that just ruined my day, so I wouldn't tell anyone. Why are you like this? And the amount of pick-me girls I had to deal with in high school, I would be like, yeah, I listen to K-pop, and they would say something so unbelievably misogynistic, and I'm like, I feel bad for y'all. This is how you think of women? This is how you think of your own kind? I only like real music. I only like, you know, I just kind of stopped functioning. I think we all go through the phase where, like, we hate anything feminine because, well, I can't speak for all of us. I certainly went through that phase because we were taught that, like, anything feminine is degrading, so you don't want to be associated with it, right? We all grew up like that. If you like makeup and do your nails and shop all day, you're just some idiotic bimbo, you know? You shouldn't be valued. And so we all grew up kind of, like, hating hating ourselves. And then, like, we got older and we realized these people are a bunch of sexists, and we moved on with our lives. I remember I was in high school. I think I've mentioned this before. I was sitting down in the hallway. At my school, we didn't have, like, chairs, so I just sat on the floor and I was listening to one of the Love Yourself albums. So this must have been in, like, what, 2017? Maybe 2018, I'm not sure. But I was sitting down and I put in my headphones, so I wasn't bothering anyone with my music. I was listening to my music all by myself, bothering no one. And then my friend came and sat next to me. She was like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, oh, I'm listening to BTS. And she was like, ugh, and rolled her eyes. And that pissed me off. That pissed me off so much. And I was like, why do you hate BTS? Have you ever listened to K-pop? She was like, no, I've never listened to their music. So I'm like, why do you hate them? And she couldn't come up with a response. You're either sexist, and because I knew her, I know she's not sexist, you're racist. I'm so sorry to have to break this to you. You're racist. How is it that you're able to accept Western anything? At the time, we were really into Jane the Virgin. So, like, you can accept Hispanic things, right? We would watch, like, Spanish TV shows. I mean, it's normal for us to watch French TV shows because I went to a French school, but we would watch French TV shows and we never had a problem with that. As soon as I say, oh, I'm watching a Korean drama or I'm listening to K-pop, your reaction is, oh, why would you do that? Because it's good. Because I like it. You refuse to accept that anything from the East could actually be good, could actually be worth our attention, and you act like fools in person and on the internet and bullying young girls for simply liking it. I saw how y'all reacted to Parasite winning. And don't even get me started on that. I don't understand who the Oscars gives awards to, because there are some actually talented white people who still haven't received anything, like Johnny Depp or what's her name, Winona Ryder. She has never received an Oscar in her life, and she's an actual talented white person. So who the Oscars is giving awards to is beats me. Tell me why Parasite swept at the Oscars, got like 4 of the major awards, but not a single one of them, not a single actor was nominated for like Best Actor category. Why is it that you can't acknowledge Korean people, Asian people, or just outsiders, people outside of the US, as actually like worthy of your time or your attention? I'll never forget that white dude who had a meltdown on YouTube like, Parasite shouldn't have won the Oscars, it should have been the Joker. Parasite was a fucking amazing movie. But you just want to keep giving awards to white people. Fine by me. Take me back to 2016. I swear to God. I would have looked at my friend and said, ma'am, you are a racist. How do you hate something when you've never given it a shot? How do you talk so badly about anime when you've never watched a single anime in your life? How do you have such a strong hatred for something you've never listened to a single Korean song? You never watched a Korean TV show, and you just decide right off the bat that it's not worthy of your time. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, is it Western centralism or whatever? I find that Westerners are so self-centered. It's like if something doesn't revolve around you, you don't want to pay any kind of attention to it. Because one thing that I received, that I still get to this day as a reason to why people don't listen to K-pop, it's like, well, if I only listen to music that I can understand. Like, how am I supposed to connect with the song if I can't understand it? Read the English translation. What do you mean you can't understand it? Or there's that stupid, like, misconception that all K-pop songs are just, like, empty. They don't have real meanings to them. They're just a bunch of stupid little Korean songs made for 12-year-old girls. No, if you actually took the time to read the lyrics of each song, you realize they have, not all of them, but a lot of them, BTS songs, have a lot of deep meaning to them. Stray Kids songs, G-Idol songs. Like, a lot of them have a lot of meaning to them, to each song. But why would you take the time to actually educate yourself on something instead of just spewing dirt on the internet? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you not want to look like an idiot? Beyond me. As someone who immigrated here at a young age and I didn't speak a word of English, one thing I noticed that's quite frustrating about people here in the West is that when you come to their country, you have to speak their language. But when they come to your country, you have to speak their language. Because they think the world revolves around them. That everyone in the world must know English. We must know French or any other fucking Western language. So when they come to us, when when a bunch of old white people come to Morocco, which they do a lot, seems to be a destination for a lot of old folks. But when they come to Morocco, we have to speak with them in English. But when I'm in their country, I have to speak English. How the hell does that make sense? So a lot of people would use that to justify not liking K-pop because it's not English. Meanwhile, the singers that you're listening to singing and rapping about absolute nonsense. Some of the worst lyrics ever. Sexist, misogynistic lyrics. Some people are using our religious sayings in their songs. Hamdulillah. You think I forget that? You think I'll forget that? But Korean music, you can't listen to Korean music because it's not English. You're just racist. I don't know what to tell you. You're just racist, and you need to work on that. I'm dead serious. You need to look at yourself and say, what is it about K-pop that I hate so much? Could it be because it's just not Western? It's just not white? Could it be because it's too Asian, too foreign? Is that why I hate it? Yes, it is. Because you're a fucking racist. I don't know what to tell you. Could it be because I just hate women in general and anything that women like must be just horrible? Yeah, you're a misogynist. I don't know what to tell you. Or could it be because I've actually given it a shot? I've listened to several artists and just decided that it's not for me. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with not liking K-pop. You could have listened to the music and just decided, not for me. I had a friend who did that. When I first got into K-pop, she wanted to give it a shot. She was like, well, if you like it so much, then, I'll give it a shot. She listened to a few songs. We watched a few music videos together, and she was like, it's just not my style. Like, I'm just not into pop music. And I was like, cool, you're not into it. Fine. Next topic. I want to talk about how K-pop stands, like, in K-pop themselves. They've decided they like it, how they behave. Because some of you are a little annoying. I'm not going to talk about, like, the fan cams that are everywhere. I honestly don't think that's that big of a deal. Like, yeah, it might be a little annoying that they're putting fan cams under tweets that have nothing to do with anything. If the tweet is about something extremely serious, then obviously that's very, very annoying. That's very disrespectful. And I don't encourage that behavior. But for the most part, if someone is just, like, ranting about, I don't know, hot dogs or whatever, and someone left a fan cam under their video, like, yeah, it's a little annoying, but it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't use that to say that, like, all K-pop stans are the worst because they're leaving fan cams under people's videos. Like, I really don't think that's that big of a deal. What I want to talk about is those fans who like to harass people, like, send them threats and stuff for not having the same opinion as them. What is wrong with you people? Like someone, is her name Angelina? I've never actually said her name out loud. Now I'm realizing I may not know her name. I believe it's Angelina. She has a K-pop YouTube channel where she talks about K-pop news, like things that are happening in K-pop right now. She also talks about her opinions. Favorite songs, least favorite songs, favorite comebacks, etc. And she shared recently that she's been harassed by K-pops. Like, people are making up rumors about her. People are just sending her so much hate just because she has opinions. Like, how do you not understand that, like, I like something, you like something. We may not like the same things because we're different people. Why do you go off harassing people, bullying people, threatening people just because they don't have the same opinion as you? I remember back in like 2018 or something, I'm just trying to find a shimmer shade. I remember back in 2018 or something, or 17, something like that. I watched a video of someone sharing their opinion about, best rappers in K-pop. And I think someone said, in that video, they said that they think Lisa is not a very good rapper, which is their opinion. And I shared in the comments saying, I think Lisa is a great rapper. That's all I said. I think she's good. I like Lisa of Blackpink. And then there were I don't want to say chill, because there's some of you adults act way too young for your age, but there are people in my comment section cursing me out, threatening me for simply thinking that Lisa is a good rapper. What is wrong with you? I eventually, at the time I was like, 17? I was young. I didn't want to deal with it. I eventually just kind of deleted the comment and just moved on with my life. They were so freaking mean for no reason, just unprovoked, being like, no, you're wrong and we hate you and we hope you die because you think Lisa is a good rapper. If that's the response they gave me, I can't even imagine the kind of response they're giving Lisa. If they're willing to harass me to that extent for simply having an opinion, I can't even imagine the things they're saying to Lisa herself. And then there are those of you who are so out of touch with reality that I actually want to punch you in the face. I'll never forget when the horrible, disgusting, heartbreaking shooting happened in New Zealand at a mosque. It was horrible. I don't even want to talk about it because it makes me very emotional. But I'll never forget when someone tweeted something along the lines of, if they stand Luna, they wouldn't have died that day. That is your response to a terrorist attack? To families being murdered because they just went to pray that day? That's your response? I'll never forget that. These responses still exist to this day. A tragedy would happen to someone and they'd be like, they wouldn't have died if they stand BTS. I'll never, ever forget that. I'll never forgive y'all for those types of responses. Like, that's being dangerously out of touch with reality, to the point where you think that's actually okay to respond to someone like that, or to something like that. Going back to the first thought, the first topic that I talked about people being racist, they hate anything non-white or non-American. That's why they reject K-pop, like right off the bat. And they hate anything that's girl. There are grown men on this platform, on YouTube, on TikTok, Twitter, whatever it may be, who purposefully send hate towards TikTok just to get clout, because they know they don't have any other talent, and they know that some K-pop stans will do anything to protect their faves, so they just say hateful, childish, stupid, ignorant things to get their attention, so they can get their names out there, right? And then there are those who do it because they are what I talked about, sexist, just misogynistic, racist people. They've never listened to K-pop, and they'll be happy to admit that. They've never seen or done anything that has anything to do with Korea, but they feel more than happy and comfortable hating on it just because teenage girls like it. And they like to use the excuse like, oh my god, 12-year-old girls are bullying me on the internet. Like, you think I'm gonna be scared of a bunch of 12-year-olds? Let me tell you something. It's not just 12-year-old girls. It's not just children who like K-pop. Grown adults, including myself, like K-pop. Because again, it's just music. They're just singing and dancing. Why do you have such a strong hatred for people? Or just an industry where people just sing and dance. They're not doing anything different from your faves, from Ariana or Beyonce or whatever. In fact, K-pop was inspired by Western music. And the last topic I'd like to talk about, this is gonna get dangerous because I'm gonna do eyeliner, is Jay Park's stupid ass. Jay Park can go burn in hell. I don't know what to tell you. For a while there, I was quite a fan of Jay Park. I loved his music. I didn't love it enough to listen to it every single day, which is why I feel really comfortable just giving it up, not listening to his music anymore, not supporting him anymore, because he's an ass. I don't know what to tell you. But if you don't know what happened, let me give you a rundown while I attempt to do my eyeliner. Jay Park recently released a song, I think yesterday. He released a song yesterday titled DNA, where he and a group of rappers, Korean rappers, I have no idea who they are. I'm not saying that to be shady. I truly have no idea who they are. But they released a song called DNA, where they proceeded to rap about how proud they are of Korean culture while wearing Black American culture like a costume. And when people were rightfully angry at him for that, he had one of the worst responses one could possibly have to anything, including controversy. Imagine if I broke someone's nose. I don't know why I always use that example, but I'm going to use it today. Imagine if I broke someone's nose, and instead of apologizing to them, saying, hey, I'm so sorry that I did that, it was an accident, I didn't mean it. Instead of saying that, I said, there are so many awful things in this world, and breaking your nose is just not that big of a deal. That was Jay Park's response. He was like, there's so many horrible things and horrible people in this world. Sorry, I thought someone was knocking on my door. Korean dudes in dreadlocks is not that big of a deal. Imagine. Imagine being such a dick when someone tells you, I'm offended by your actions. How could you do that to me? You say, it's not that big of a deal, dude. Chill out. Relax. You're going crazy. And then he reposted on Twitter a video of him rapping about BLM, I believe, or rapping about supporting Black people, and how when he sees Black people being murdered, it hurts his heart. It hurts his poor little heart. So you care about Black people when they're being killed, but when they're alive and telling you, hey, don't wear my culture as a costume, you don't care. Fuck off. I try not to swear in my videos, but seriously, Jay Park, fuck off. Just fuck all the way off. Cultural appropriation in all industries, including Western, like American music industry, is not foreign at all. It's actually pretty common. So many artists have built their entire careers stealing off of other people's culture. More specifically, Black American culture. We've seen it happen time and time again. Your favorites, some of my favorites, like I'm looking back and I'm like, why do I like Ariana Grande? Just painted herself brown and started singing R&B, and I'm like, yes, queen. My goodness. People are getting away with it, and we who claim to be like, whatever, I hate the word woke and I refuse to use it, but who claim to be, aware of what's going on in the world are still blindly supporting these people. It's like, but anyways, K-pop is certainly not foreign to cultural appropriation. In fact, they thrive on it. Like Lisa recently wearing a do-rag in the Kingdom performance, or even Kai wearing a bedazzled do-rag during his solo comeback, or K-pop idol saying the N-word left and right, or G-idol using a mosque where we go to pray as like an accessory in their performance. It's so frustrating. Time and time again, people all around the world, we're all telling you, like, can you please not do this? It's really, really offensive. You're taking something that belongs to us, something that has such significance, and you're stripping it of all its importance, all of its significance, and just turning it into a trend, a phase. And it's really, really annoying, and it's offensive. And these people, they pretend to care, they pretend to listen to us when they're not listening. And it's unbelievably frustrating. Like I actually don't know much about this, because I don't know what happened, but I heard from a friend who told me recently that Jay Park used Allah in his song. Of course he did. Did I expect anything less from him? I'm so annoyed. And my eyeliner doesn't match. I just Okay, let me go off camera, do my eyeliner, and I'll be back because I've been sitting here for way too long trying to do it. Jake Park, you can continue to act the way that you are acting right now. You can continue to do whatever the hell you want. You can continue to wear someone else's culture like a costume and make a fool of yourself. What I am going to say to you is, we're just not going to support you anymore. We've had enough of your bull crap. We're just not going to continue supporting you anymore. If you were truly a proud Korean, you would have showcased your very own culture very, very proudly without having to steal someone else's. But you're not. You're just full of crap. And we're done with you. Okay? Thank you and goodbye. I said that was the last topic, but I'm not done talking about this. The way people justify racism and cultural appropriation, like the way K-pop stans justify it, let's talk about it, because I used to do this all the time. I was doing it up until recently when I opened my eyes and said, Hannah, that's ridiculous. But what I used to do all the time, and I see K-pop stans doing it currently doing it all the time, is they would say they just didn't know any better. They don't know about racism and cultural appropriation like we do, because we in the West are so advanced, we're so smart, we're like the most superior human beings ever, and they don't understand race and the complicities of race and culture the way that we do. So that's why they're doing it. They're ignorant. They don't know. They just don't know. The way some of y'all are so comfortable infantilizing Asian men is actually racist. And I'm calling myself out. I was doing this up until very recently. I had no problem saying, oh, my fave, a grown Asian man in his 30s. Jay Park is what, pushing 40 at this point. He didn't know any better. He didn't know any better. And that's why he's doing this. Even though we've told him time and time again not to do this, that it's offensive, that it's hurting us. He doesn't know any better. My poor little baby, grown-ass man, I'm gonna treat him like a baby. He doesn't know. Imagine thinking a 30-year-old man doesn't know anything. Imagine thinking anyone doesn't know anything. It's racist. Infantilizing Asian men is systemic. There's a long history, especially here in the West, of the media doing this. That's why they don't believe that an Asian man could be like a sexy lead in any TV show. There's something in my eye. There's always something in my eye in every single one of these videos. Every single time one of your faves gets into a controversy and you say, oh, but they don't know any better, you're doing it. Instead of actually holding them accountable, saying, hey, you're a grown man who made a mistake, or you're a grown woman who made a mistake. We're telling you that it's offensive. Just apologize and move on. You're like, no, my poor baby, he could never do that. He just doesn't know any better. It's stupid. It's really stupid. And it's offensive. But one last thing. I know I said the Jay Park thing is the last thing, but this is the last thing. If you justify not liking K-pop by saying that they look like women, you say shit like, I don't like BTS because they all look like women, you are a racist. I don't know what to tell you. Once again, it's systemic. For many, many years, Asian men have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, feminized or demasculized? They've been portrayed by Western media as amasculine for a very, very long time, because I believe, I looked it up, I saw this on Wikipedia, so we don't know if this is a good source or not, but I looked it up on Wikipedia and they said because Asian immigrants who came like way back in the day were so smart, white people were threatened by their intelligence and gave them this kind of like feminine or amasculine stereotype so that they wouldn't come for their job. So that's why you see a lot of Asian people, I don't know if this is true, but you see a lot of Asian people working very kind of feminine jobs like cooking, cleaning, doing nails, etc. Again, I don't know if this is actually true, but that's what I read. So to justify not liking K-pop because men look like women, one, you're misgendering them, which is a whole other topic that I don't have time for. And honestly, frankly, I don't know enough about it to talk about. Let's be real. But it's also so unbelievably racist. You're just an asshole. Shallon Lester, you're just an asshole. That's why you don't have much of a career left. And I'm done talking about this. Okay. I'm done. I'm really, really hot. And I'm probably going to go take off my makeup after this. Oh. If there's anything you can take away from this video is if you hate K-pop for no reason, you're either racist or you're sexist. And J Park, screw you. Okay, bye.